Hello, this is Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials, and I'm back with another set of videos for plays from week 2. We had a good first week. I want to commend everyone for the hard work we did, and we got off to a really good start. So let's continue that this week, and let's get right to the plays. We miss a foul for defensive pass interference here. You can see this on the line feed, and then the replay shows it really well. You can see that the defender is grabbing the receiver and then gets him by the shoulder, climbs up and tries to knock the ball away, and we don't have a flag on the ground. So this is a pretty serious defensive pass interference foul, and we must call these and not let the defense get away with this obvious intent to impede the receiver to getting to the ball. The crew does a good job in collaborating on this intentional grounding foul. You can see that the passer throws the ball away so that it lands well beyond the neutral zone, but the question is whether or not he is or has been outside the tackle box. The crew gets together and talks about it and decides that it is intentional grounding, and so the referee drops his flag. So they get to the correct final result, but it would have been a lot cleaner if the referee had thrown the flag to start with, then have the conversation and pick it up if the foul's not there. It's okay like it is, but it's so much better to have the flag on the ground and then pick it up if you have to, rather than dropping the flag as a result of this conversation.
At the last minute, he saw it.
Offense, number 16. He was not outside of the tackle box. Loss of down at the spot of the foul. Third down.
We get a nice job of calling this hands to the face foul on the defensive lineman. Sometimes I get questions about the hands to the face foul as to whether or not it really is legitimate to make that a 15-yard penalty, since many times it doesn't seem as serious as clipping or block below the waist or some other foul that's classified as a personal foul. But here you can see why a 15-yard penalty is perfectly legit. Because his head is pushed back hard, this could lead to injury. So this shows why the 15-yard penalty is very much in order. You get a good look at this on the line feed as well as on the replay. Well done.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face, defense, number 26. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Here we have another example of a sliding ball carrier who is targeted by a defensive player who comes in and launches and strikes him in the headgear with forcible contact. So this is correctly called on the field as a targeting foul, and the player was disqualified from the game after review. The review confirms the call, and so this is a good action by the officials on the field as well as in the replay booth. Referees, once again, this is a good example of try not to have to come back and make a second announcement. Make sure that you know what you're going to say before you open that microphone and go through the little sentences you're going to say. You can do that very quickly in your mind, but just have in mind what you're going to say rather than having to come back for a second announcement. In this case, it would have been much better if he had said dead ball, personal foul with targeting. That way it's clear that if the targeting happened to be overturned, the 15-yard penalty for the dead ball, personal foul, would still be enforced. And again, sometimes that second announcement can get lost in the hubbub of the aftermath of the original announcement. So good job to get this, and just a little tweak on the referee's announcement would have made this a really wonderful piece of officiating.
After the play was over, personal foul, targeting, number 22 of the defense. That play is under review.
All right, we'll bring in Matt Austin, our rules analyst, back in
Personal
Charlotte.
foul with targeting.
And as we watch,
We get a good call for a block in the back on this long punt play. This is an obvious call, and you can see this right at the point of attack. It's when they get in this chase mode that we're most likely to have these blocks in the back, so this is a good call to get this. It takes the crew a while to get this sorted out, and it's not clear what's going on as to why it took so long. But in any event, good call for blocking the back on this punt play.
This out. During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
On this pass play, we get a good call for defensive holding against an eligible receiver. A couple things to notice here. First of all, the quarterback still has the ball when this action takes place, so it is defensive holding. Now, this is not the intended receiver. This is not where the ball is thrown, so it would not be pass interference. But it may be that this was going to be the intended receiver had he not been held. So that's part of the reason for awarding an automatic first down by rule. So good job to get this, and good announcement by the referee.
Holding, 6, defense, against an eligible receiver. This is a 10-yard penalty for the previous spot with an automatic first down.
Here's a play where a ball carrier fumbles, and then the defender reaches down, picks up the ball, and carries it for a touchdown. And we rule that he was down when he picked up the ball. Now, it's important to remember that once you rule the ball carrier down, replay is out of it. And in this case, you can clearly see that the player was not down when he picked up the ball, even though he had been ruled down. But that takes replay out of it. This play is not reviewable once he is ruled down. Now, of course, that changes if he's very close to the goal line and about to go in the end zone. We can review those if he steps out of bounds, let's say, and then carries on into the end zone very quickly. But out here in the middle of the field, we need to let it go as a recovery unless we're 100% sure that he's down. We get a good call for a face mask foul on this play, and it's a pretty unusual situation. You can see that the receiver has the ball intercepted in front of him, and then he grabs the face mask of the defender and pulls him to the ground. This calls for good concentration. The temptation would be to watch the interception and really not focus on the action that occurred after that. So good job to get this. It would be easy to miss, and we have good concentration by the calling official. Also, I want to commend the referee for his very clear announcement here, and notice that he follows his penalty announcement with an announcement about a sideline warning. Now that makes sure that everybody hears the second part of the announcement. My point is that if the announcement about the sideline warning had come as a second separate announcement, it very likely would have gotten lost. So a good job by the referee to make this all one announcement. So this is well handled. Good job on the field. Good job by the referee in enforcing the penalty and making the announcement.
The result of the play is an interception by USC. During the return, personal foul face mask, 84 of the passing team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. At the end of the play, sideline warning, USC.
This is nice work to get this intentional grounding foul. As the referee says, the quarterback gets out the tackle box, but then he does not get the ball past the line of scrimmage. So this is a good call, good communication by the crew. And the referee does also a good job in explaining that because of the time on the clock, this would qualify as a 10-second runoff, and the team with the intentional grounding foul elects to take its time out to avoid the runoff. So good job overall of handling this, and nice job by the referee of explaining exactly what happened with regard to the clock.
Intentional grounding offense. Number 2, he was outside of the tackle box, but the ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. By rule, the penalty includes the option for 10-second clock subtraction. Michigan has chosen to take their third and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout. Loss of down at the spot of the foul.
We have an ineligible receiver downfield on this long pass play. You can see this on the line feed as well as on a couple of the replays. Good call. This was a big play in the game as it obviously wiped out a very long gain. The ball is snapped at the 11-yard line, and the lineman is around the 15-yard line when the pass is released. So good job to get this ineligible receiver downfield on a forward pass.
Down. Ineligible player downfield, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We get a good roughing the passer call here. You can see that the defensive player could easily have held up, but he moves on toward the passer, tackles him, throws him to the ground. So this is a good call for roughing the passer. Obviously, there is no need for this action by the defender, so this is a good call. We get good work by the officials on this play in two regards. First of all, there's clearly a holding foul that takes place, and we get a flag on the ground for that. And then also the head coach of the fouling team comes on the field and very seriously gets in the face of the official, maybe bumps him, and we get a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct foul against the coach. So good job to get this. In both cases, the foul for the holding is clearly there. But the main thing I want to point out is a good job by the crew to get this coach for unsportsmanlike conduct. Again, we cannot let this happen. Now, we sometimes let them get away with this, and I'm so glad that in this case the crew did not do that. They charged the coach, appropriately so, with the foul for unsportsmanlike conduct. We get a good call for offensive holding by the right tackle on this pass play. You can see it pretty well on the line feed, and replay gives us a good view of it. So good call to get this. Probably holding also by the right offensive guard. That's a little less clear, but clearly the right tackle has a holding foul. So good job to get this as offensive holding. On this play, the instant replay official creates a targeting foul. You can see that the ball carrier is tackled. He's hit and gets knocked off his feet. And as he is going to the ground, he is hit by the defensive player who targets him to the head neck area. So this is clearly targeting action by the defensive player. Now, the ball carrier is not defenseless, but the replay official ruled that he became defenseless once he had been hit by the first defender and had his feet knocked out from under him. Now, this is a good example of a defenseless player who is not on the list of defenseless players as shown in Rule 9 and in Rule 2. And it's very important to remember that the rule says that the category of defenseless players is not limited to those given in the list. In other words, you can never make a complete list of all the possibility for defenseless players. And this is a good example of that. He is not specifically on the list, but he is clearly a defenseless player. So good job by replay to get this as targeting action to the head and neck area of a defenseless player.
Personal foul targeting defense number 8. Number 8 is disqualified for the remainder of the contest. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
On this pass reception, we get a ruling of forward progress once the pass receiver has become a ball carrier. However, notice that the ball carrier gets loose from the defender, circles back, and then tries to come back to go beyond the line to gain. He's not driven back, but he goes back under his own steam. And so this is an incorrect forward progress ruling. He should not get forward progress because he's not driven back. He breaks free, and in a separate action, he circles back and tries to get back beyond the line to gain.